Harsh, let's get the snowball rolling here. The CDS today, he said, India assumed, and he used the word probably twice, India assumed Panchsheel had settled the borders. Now, the ruling dispensation of the day has argued that Nehru's Panchsheel approach was strategically flawed. We've heard it time and again. In today's geopolitical reality, sitting in 2026, with our relationship with China, what exactly would India have done differently in 1994, given the global context back then in the 1950s? How does the BJP now see this? Is it a strategic miscalculation that they've called out quite a few times? Because the Congress party will come out and say that this was a diplomatic necessity back in 1954.
Kabir, today we should not be just speaking about the Panchsheel agreement, but we should be discussing the complete foreign policy of the Nehruvian era. I'm not just talking about Nehruji, but like the leaders that followed him after that. The whole the Nehruvian era and the thought was based on that, like, India should follow a non-alignment movement and should not follow aggressive military stance, which was completely flawed. And that is not just seen in the China, mistake we made, but also with Pakistan. My ancestors fought in India-Pak War of 1947-48. One of them, Honorary Captain Fateh Singh Latha, was also awarded the Mahavir Chakra. But what was the result of that? By Panchsheel agreement, we lost Tibet as the biggest buffer between India and China. And then with the internationalization of the Kashmir issue by Prime Minister Nehru at that time, we lost a large territory of Kashmir, first to Pakistan, and then later it was handed over to, some parts of it were handed over to China as well. And I keep speaking about the Monroe Doctrine of the United States of America time and again, and I've written blogs and articles on it. The Monroe Doctrine of the USA says that it will not allow foreign power intervention in the Western Hemisphere. And this doctrine is not new. This was given in 1823. And it was central to the American policy in the 19th and 20th century. And so it is not that Nehruji and his advisors were not aware about this particular doctrine of the United States. And the kind of dominance of United States that we see today, that is based on that Monroe Doctrine of 1823. Had we followed something similar, and we had a leader who was giving a similar foreign policy at that point of time, even before we gained independence. That was Subhash Chandra Bose. Had Subhash Chandra Bose ji, I'm not belittling Nehru ji at all. He was a first prime minister. We respect him, but his foreign policy was flawed. In 1947, the only good thing we inherited from the British Empire was the largest standing army of South Asia. We could have used that to have an intervention in the Tibetan issue. We could have not allowed China to annex Tibet. Attacks happening on us today, because the reality of 1940.
But again, focusing on the Northern Command, what should have the Nehruvian foreign policy done differently back then?
See, Nehruvian foreign policy could have done nothing, because Nehru ji was a fantastic person. I do not deny that. But his idea of not using military might and his Gandhian principles do not work in the real world. There is only one treaty that is respected in the world throughout history, and that is pure military might. And he refused to see that. Had Subhash Chandra Bose ji would have been our first prime minister, the reality of today's India and the reality of the 1947 India would have been totally different, drastically different. Possibly Tibet would have been an independent country. Pakistan wouldn't have existed in the current form. And a lot of people, especially from the Congress, would say, no, that was the need of the time. And Nehruvian principles hold ground in today's world as well. I disagree with that. Even Indira ji disagreed with the Nehruvian principles of foreign policy. Her intervention in 1971 with the situation of Bangladesh, the liberation of Bangladesh, shows that his daughter herself didn't believe in the Nehruvian principles of foreign policy.
Okay.